Hairstylist, when does it end? When will you actually start to put yourself first so you can make more money, keep more money, and do it without feeling guilty? I'll tell you when, right mother effing now. Welcome to the Make That Money podcast with Nina Tulio, where we talk all things pricing, all things profit, and how to build your business with confidence. Welcome back, my friends, to the Make That Money podcast. I am Nina Tulio and I am your host. And today we are going to talk about pricing. I live for talking about pricing and profit margins and all the things. And just little backstory here. I barely graduated high school. When I was a senior in high school, I had Algebra 1 as a senior in high school. I had applied math all the years because I just couldn't grasp it, right? And as a senior in high school, I was getting ready to graduate and my math teacher said, "You're not going to pass. You have a 59." And I was like, "What?" Like, my mom will kick my ass if I do not graduate from freaking high school. So we need to work this out. And I'm like, "I will do extra credit. Like, you need to tell me what I have to do here because I need to graduate." And so I did that. I had to do some extra credit. It was so hard for me to understand and grasp algebra and X plus Y equals it just didn't make sense to me. And I'm sure so many of you can relate. Now, here I am all the years later teaching pricing and numbers and using Excel sheets and talking profit margins and percentages and all of the things. And this did not come easy to me. So if you are in the space of avoiding your numbers and avoiding finance in your business, you are in the right place because I'm going to get you all the way together. My goal is to make you feel so confident in the way that you're running your business. And we just start by paying attention to certain things. We start by pulling profit and loss reports. We start by looking at our sales numbers every day. We start by looking at our average ticket every day. We start looking at our price per minute and price per hour and cost of product and all the things that we're going to talk about, as we move through this podcast. But I just want you to know that you are definitely not alone if you struggle with math, and you are definitely not alone if numbers gives you a freaking headache, because I get it. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about teaching this, because I understand what it is like to struggle and literally just I avoided my numbers for the longest time, even as a salon owner. And I just thought like shit would go away, and it doesn't go away. I mentioned this before. It gets bigger. It gets worse. So today, when we're talking about pricing, I want to talk about the three reasons the three ways that pricing is impacting your business. And I'm going to throw a little bonus one. So really it's 4. Okay. How is your pricing impacting your business? And again, you may not be looking at your pricing. You may not understand your price per minute yet. That's okay. You may have just grabbed your prices from a salon down the street or where you came from, and you're like, "Oh, this looks good." Or maybe you called around and you're like, "Oh, I'm in the ballpark." We can't operate like that anymore. It just doesn't work for our business, because the way that someone else is pricing their services isn't going to align with the way that you need to price your services, because there are so many factors that go into pricing. And I'll give you the top 5 right now. There are other factors too, but the top 5 are time, product, your target profit, business expenses, and hours worked. Okay. Those are the 5 things that go into pricing services. Of course, we have demand, of course, and there's a lot of things that your business expenses are going to carry, like your education and all of the things. So those are the top 5. We look at demand. There are other things in terms of your market and demographic that go into it, but I'm just giving you the top 5 right now. So if you were to take my Make That Money course, we go into this a lot deeper, and Make That Money is for my independent artists. But if we really start to understand what it looks like to price services, you will stop going on Facebook groups and asking people what they're charging from across the country, because it doesn't freaking matter. What Jenny is doing in Philadelphia isn't going to matter or compare to what's happening in Miami, what's happening in Kansas, to what's happening in Northern California. Everything is so customized in the way that I coach and teach to pricing, especially based on those 5 factors. So let's talk about how your pricing or your prices are affecting your business. Number 1, your schedule. How many of you are working over 40 hours a week because you have to? And you should listen. I mean, if you want to work over 40 hours a week, cool, right? But I don't recommend it. The sweet spot typically is 32 to 35 hours a week, right? But if you have to work over 40 hours a week just to cover the bills in your business, there's a pricing issue. So scheduling, number 1. Number 2, low sales. If you are killing it and you're working your ass off and you're like, shit, at the end of the day, week and month, you're like, why are my sales so low? I'm booked and busy. Maybe you're fully booked and you look at your sales and you're like, I should be making more money. It's a pricing issue. So low sales, right? Especially if you are working so hard and you're working over the schedule of 40 hours a week and your sales are still not cutting it, it's a pricing issue. Number 3, low profit. If you are working really hard and you have low sales, or you are working really hard and have high sales, and at the end of the month, you have nothing left or you have barely anything left, it's a pricing issue. I cannot stress to you how much your prices affect your business. They drive your sales. It's a driver of profit. It promotes your schedule and how often you work, right? Because without your prices being done correctly, you're always going to have to do the most. You're always going to have to work over 40 hours a week. You're always going to be wondering where all my money's going. Now, on the back end of that, if you're having a profit issue, there also could be some cash management and budgeting issues too. But here's another one. I'm going to throw this one out here too. If your cost of product per service is more than 15% of the price of the service, it's a pricing issue. Let me repeat that. If your cost of product for a service is more than 15% of the price of the service, you have a pricing issue. Now, the last one, I'm going to just throw this out here because I know this shit is all the way real. When you have low prices and you are showing up and doing the absolute most for your clients and you have low sales, you're not making money, you're not keeping money, you're working over 40 hours a week, you will start to resent the fact that you have to come into the salon. Hear me loud and clear because I am speaking the damn truth and I speak from experience. If you're undercharging, you don't think that's going to affect how you show up for Susie and Judy, right? You're going to start to feel resentment. And I've worked on this with my coaching clients, my Make That Money students. We've been at the resentment stage, and it's because you're overworked, underpaid, and so damn tired. Well, guess what? You get to change that whole narrative. You get to get your pricing on point so you can cut your hours back and work the schedule that you want to work. And we've got to be realistic with schedules too. All this craziness of working 2-3 days a week and doing all the things. Now, I'm not saying you can't do that. You can. There's a process to it, but trying to cram all of your clients in 2 to 3 days and work a part-time schedule with full-time clients, something's going to sacrifice. There's going to be a compromise there, and the clients are probably going to feel it. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you can't work 2 to 3 days a week and make the money that you want and live the life you can. You absolutely can do that. And I coach and teach to that and make that money, but we've got to be realistic in our approach. It's not going to happen overnight. There are a form of, there's like steps and things that we have to take in order for you to get to that point. So I just want you to really understand, I just really want to drill this in your head. Pricing is one of the drivers of your business in terms of sales, profit, and how much you work. And I want you to make sure that you are not underselling yourself and you're not undercutting yourself. And also want you to know that you don't have to live here in this space forever. There are so many things that you can do to get your pricing on point. And what I would love for you to do is to go onto my website, ninatulio.com, and watch my free pricing class. It's 30 minutes. I give a shit ton of information on there, and I talk about price per minute, price per hour. I talk about the 5 factors of pricing. I go into this stuff a lot deeper, but it will also get your wheels turning a little bit more so you really understand how important pricing is. So if you're scared to raise your prices, we've got to get out of that mindset, because that mindset, remember from episode 1 and 2, that mindset is keeping you still and stuck. And that mindset that keeps you still and stuck will get you to the resentment phase where you actually don't want to show up in your own business. And we don't want that. I want the absolute best for you. So check out my free class. You can also go on my Instagram and literally go on any one of my posts and type the word pricing on any one of my posts on Instagram, and you'll get a link sent to your DMs to the free pricing class. So there are a couple ways that you can hit it, but I have, profit calculators for free on my website. I have so many resources that can help you increase profit margin, help you understand how to increase sales when it comes to, just tweaking your pricing. So if you're tired of all of this shit when it comes to your business, especially when it comes to pricing, take action. I am pushing you to take action right now, because where you are, if you're unhappy and miserable and struggling in your business, you don't have to stay there. And again, that's the whole purpose of this podcast. So take some action today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Check out all of those free resources. You can slide into my DMs on Instagram at Nina Tulio. And I would love it if you would write a 5-star review if you are loving this podcast. It really will help me, and it will also help get this message out to so many more people. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.